This is Sybert signing into Red Alert 2, and I forgot to look at the map name, but we have a Soviet v. Soviet match. And interestingly, on this particular map, you actually start out with two oil derricks, which is, I think, will be an interesting twist. In the north, as the red Soviets playing Iraq, this is Knauf. And in the south, playing as the yellow Soviets, this is KWOS. These guys have been playing some matches today, and Zhasulan, the other guy in this game, was nice enough to invite me. He's going to be jumping on a call in probably the next match, and then we'll get some dual cats going on so that he can explain some stuff. But last match, which unfortunately crashed for me, was a pretty quick but funny base trade, where instead of the armies clashing, they basically bypassed each other and just went in on the other guy's base. In this particular case, the split of the oil derricks means that you have build radius in pretty far corners of the map right from the beginning of the game. And, well, these games are probably going to turn into rhino tanks and dogs, but we shall see. No ore refineries at all on the left side of the map for KWOS. He's focused entirely on the right side of the map with his own, and actually this terror drone running around here for Knauf, but with his own war factory and refinery over there on the right side, and then these two oil derricks here split on the southern half of the map. 3 harvesters over there. 1 refinery with 2 harvesters, 1 refinery with 2 harvesters in the north. And some potential infects. There's the infect in the north, and it looks like the terror drone in the south got pushed away or cleaned up. And refinery there in the southern position, and it looks like Knauf is going to try and lock that down with a terror drone. Might actually get the infect, maybe not. There's going to be the service depot, repairs that harvester, keeps it from dying to that terror drone. Always nice to get that service depot if you can afford to get it out a little early so that terror drones are less of a problem in these Soviet mirrors. First couple of rhino tanks moving out. Knauf might be looking for a bit of a two-pronged attack. He was trying that in one of the games, splitting up KWOS's forces and forcing KWOS to fight on 2 fronts, but this is a map where you already have 2 fronts right from the get-go. It looks like Rhino Tank's going to be spawning on the right side. Maybe a bit of a problem here as the first 3 tanks come in, and that terror drone is maybe going to get a free ore collector down in the southern field. Knauf has another tank pulling in here. First sentry gun is down, and there's the kill, the force fire kill of the harvester to kill the terror drone inside as well. KWOS doing what he can to control the damage done by those terror drones. Third refinery is now up for Knauf, although it might actually be, no, he still hasn't dropped one in the top left, so it's just the 3 refineries for the current moment. KWOS, on the other hand, going to be sending a couple of tanks up to the north. Might be able to get a free kill on this oil derrick. Well, sentry gun does deploy in time, so Rhino Tank's going to be forced to push away from that. Another war factory comes up for KWOS. I think that's his 3rd war factory, 4th war factory in total. Rhino Tanks coming out. Dogs being added on as well in the first big engagement. Knauf may have the better position, just with the reinforcements being that much closer, as he's going to chase down the tanks of KWOS. I think he's got the tank advantage, but the dog's going to come in and mess with the AI a little bit here. The auto-targeting sometimes attacks the dogs instead of the tanks and can lead to an inferior number of tanks coming out with the advantage in the battle if the other guy's tanks are just attacking your dogs. Reinforcements for Knauf, trying to push KWOS a little bit further away. KWOS has a longer way to drive for these reinforcements to get to the front line as well, although he's pulled back pretty significantly. KWOS looking to set up, maybe just try and run around the tanks of Knauf, but Knauf has figured it out and repositioning. At the same time, KWOS maybe adding on more refineries. And again, just all positioning with these Rhino tank armies. And with 5 Rhino tanks splitting off to the left side, KWOS definitely has a weaker army. He doesn't want to engage directly, but his 5 Rhino tanks might be able to jump on this expansion, maybe shut down a war factory, or maybe shut down a refinery. We shall see. They're cutting off to the top left, but this is going to kind of warn Knauf that something else is going on. He's going to go for it with the tanks, getting the superior number, but the reinforcements coming in from KWOS might be enough to turn this battle and switch the tide. We'll see. Knauf loses that oil derrick in the top left, but he's winning the tank fight in the south. Reinforcements not enough from KWOS to stop the attack of Knauf. The oil derrick goes down, but not much more, and now it's 5 tanks versus 5 tanks. The advantage keeping pretty even here, as both of these guys trading out basically 1-to-1. I think Knauf barely winning the fight. Not much of a victory there, but a victory nonetheless over the tank army of KWOS. KWOS turning north with the Rhinos, looking to re-engage. Killing the oil derrick. I don't know if that was a big enough blow. Tanks from Knauf going to turn south. He's going to try and jump on a harvester. Finds the reinforcements of KWOS instead, and is going to target down the harvester, maybe even get the refinery or power plant. He doesn't dive on the MCV. He's cycling out to try and find another target. Goes for another harvester to try and slow down the economy of KWOS. Make those reinforcements a little bit slower overall. Might actually be able to get a third harvester here as he jumps on it. 5 tanks still remaining for Knauf. Just the better positioning, the better tank control overall by Knauf. Leaves 5 tanks a little close to enemy lines, but does pull them out eventually. Might be able to trade 1 tank for another, as the tank number's still on the side of Knauf. He's looking to re-engage on the right side. Big tank advantage for Knauf, and he's going to try and divide and conquer against the forces of KWOS. Both players running low on cash, but it looks like KWOS still has a decent amount. KWOS goes in for the attack, getting split into 2 groups, and it looks like Knauf is just going to run away with the tank battle. That's an overwhelm, and a GG gets called as KWOS loses that game, and it looks like once again the end screen not loading. I don't know why this happens, but the end screen doesn't load for me, and we're left with this kind of sad static screen. All right, we're going to jump on the call with Zhasulan and try and get some more games. All right, once again, I forgot to actually look at the name of this map, but we've got a delightful desert map here. No split of the oil derricks right at the beginning, nothing like that. And in the north, we have Knauf taking that first game that we got to see. Plenty of other games, but I think the first one that successfully recorded. Meanwhile, in the south, as the Yellow Soviets, it's KWOS. Once again, Iraq versus Iraq. We actually didn't see any Desolators in that last match, and it looks like this map has a good spread of, or lots of resources to be had, with a couple of gem patches. I think this is another one of those 4-player maps, so you've kind of got 4 quadrants, and we do have cross-map spawns for our 2 competitors here. A little bit of water to break this up, and some more gems in a little pocket, it looks like, on either side of the map. Might be a focal point for a midpoint of the game, but we shall see. Scouting dogs and terror drones coming out for both players. Dog gets cleaned up there. KWOS losing that scout, but yep, he's got his own terror drone as well, so he's going to go for the dog and then go for the scout with the terror drone. I assume neither guy will get lucky enough to get a kill with that terror drone, but we'll see. 2 war factories up already for KWOS. Just 1 refinery, 2 harvesters, but as I said, that a 3rd harvester pops on out. So, very similar timing. Nice kill of KWOS's terror drone there by Knauf. Dog comes in, gonna try and draw the fire of that ore collector, but it doesn't work. KWOS gets the kill on the terror drone regardless. And goodbye, terror drone. So both players getting the kill on the terror drone just as the 5th harvester steps on out. 3rd war factory for Knauf, and the production of dogs and rhino tanks will begin shortly. Maybe add on a couple of more harvesters. We've already got a 2nd refinery for KWOS. He's splitting his harvesters between the high ground and the low ground instead of just going all one location. and we can probably expect a second refinery relatively soon here from Knauf. There's the infect. Might actually be forcing him to drop a service depot. Yep, okay, so he's positioning his war miner over near where the service depot will deploy. And there we go. Fixes that terror drone right up. And only a little bit of lost mining time there for Knauf. KWOS sends out his first group of rhinos and doggos, the two best units in the game. Who needs anything else? Occasionally, we do get to see some Desolators, and I think once we jump on the call with Zhasulan, we're going to try and do some team games also. I'd like to see some team games and not just some 1v1s. Terror drones hunting around. Couple of tanks from KWOS. Ooh, Terror Drone almost gets the infect for KWOS, but Knauf gets the kill anyways. Fourth War Factory up and running for Knauf. Pretty good positioning there as far as he can send out tanks both sides of this ridge, get his reinforcements wherever they need to be quickly. Sneaky Terror Drone trying to get in here. Knauf looking for an opening, looking for an opportunity to attack with that Terror Drone, but just not quite finding it. Not yet, anyways. The terrain of this map causing a little bit of a split and trying to force these guys around different paths. Knauf looking to, once again, play a little bit defensive. If he can get the better positioning, then when KWOS attacks into him, it's just going to be an advantage for Knauf. Slowly expanding out via the base crawl is Knauf. KWOS doing basically the same thing over to the left side. No one really going for the long-distance mining on the gems just yet. They want to keep those ore truck paths real short. As short as possible. And Knauf moving out. Almost ready to put some pressure on to KWOS. As you can see, splits off 3 tanks way over to the left side, trying to force KWOS to split his army in a disadvantageous way. But no, brings them back together. KWOS doing the same, just mirroring each other in every possible way. Dogs step forward. 3 more reinforcements come in, and it might be time to go. No. Knauf kind of disengages. KWOS looking to split this army up. And there's the dogs to the front. KWOS going to try and come in here with the tanks, but it might be too much from Knauf. Pushes forward, dogs swing around to the backside, and here is Knauf's attempt to break into the base of KWOS, but KWOS doing a good job holding the line, holding that front line, and not letting Knauf into his base. The tanks might be too much. Just too many tanks from the side of Knauf, and there's the push in. He's on top of the production, and unless there's a miracle in the hands of KWOS, that might be it for him. We'll see how many ore trucks go down. Sentry gun is here. 2 ore trucks get eliminated, and there's a sell-off of the MCV just to try and fund the defense. More reinforcements coming in from Knauf. The constant reinforcements causing some real problems for KWOS. And now there's the crush of the engineer. No war factories targeted down yet, but there's the GG as KWOS gets overwhelmed and defeated. All right, welcome to Reconcile. This is a map with a split down the middle, and I love this. 2 oil derricks, just a short walk across a bridge from each other. We'll see if that factors into this, but in the south as the yellow, this is KWOS. Once again, it's double Iraq, it's double Soviets. In the north, playing the red, this is Knauf. All right, after this, we're going to jump into some dual cast with Zhasulan, and we're going to take a look at maybe some more 1v1s, and then hopefully, eventually, get some team games or some other wackiness, because, you know, tank fights are fun, but to be honest, the reason that I've loved playing Red Alert 2 as a kid was not just using rhino tanks and dogs to try and outposition the other guy. It was all of the weird, wacky stuff that you see more in the team games and less so in the 1v1s. So this is the way that competitive Red Alert 2 has come down to. This is, sort of what it has turned into. And like it or not, it's not quite for everyone, and it's not necessarily the deepest kind of strategy that you want to see, so I think we're going to be able to mix it up. Sells off one of the refineries there, just needs the one for these ore trucks, and moves over to an expansion location. Dog over there, just kind of getting an eye on things, making sure that there isn't a terror drone going for the infect or anything. No bridge just yet, and we do have 2 garrisonable structures right nearby. It looks like Knauf has grabbed one of them as KWOS sets up for an additional refinery there in the south. Knauf, I feel like, has a winning map score so far against KWOS. I actually haven't been keeping very good track. And there's the infect of a harvester, unfortunately, for Knauf. He might be a little bit slow on the service depot. Let's see if this guy goes in for repairs. And yep, he's positioned well, so he should be able to get that repair nicely, get that terror drone taken care of. So no kill for KWOS. He gets the infect twice. He forces the service depot, and it looks like the same thing happened on the other side of the map as well. A couple of harvesters going to be transferring over to the south side. Rhinos and dogs, oh, they're joining up near the bridge. We can all hope that that means that these 2 sides of the map will indeed be reconciled, but probably not. We'll have to see. Both of the oil derricks remain untouched, despite being just moments from each other. Tanks cross the middle of the map. KWOS losing that one conscript. Such a sad little engagement there as the tanks look for their positioning. Knauf going on the offensive last time, not playing defensively. It looked like he was going to as KWOS was positioning, but he ended up going on the offense, and he ended up being able to take the game. Most of these structures really look like they are about 1, maybe 2 shots away from being broken down and unusable. I believe in, he's actually taking out the tanks so he can have better positioning so that they don't mess with his tank movements. That's kind of funny to see, just the targeting of individual trees like that. Yes, it's true, Red Alert 2 has destructible environments. We may not have tornadoes, but we do have destructible environments so that you can alter the way the game is played. So advanced here in the year 2021. No other game has features like destructible environments. This is just, it's too tip-top, it's too cutting edge. KWOS expands out to the left side of the map. We'll see if this is an actual problem. He could end up, obviously we see all of the production coming out over here, but his extra war factories are there on the left side of the map and undefended. So we'll see if that ends up being a problem, because both of the armies are focused here on the right side of the map, which is where Knauf expanded to, whereas Knauf's original main base back here on the left side of the map has a little bit less infrastructure to worry about. We'll see. A couple of these games have been all about the splits and the counterattacks rather than the straight-up tank fights, so it's always a possibility that a split or a counterattack will make the game, and that is exactly what KWOS is planning for. If he can play a little bit defensive on the right side of the map, he might be able to play offensively on the left side of the map. More Rhino tanks coming out. He's got a good group of them. I mean, really, 5 Rhino tanks can pretty well threaten an MCV before you can repair or respond to that attack. So this many Rhino tanks could be a real problem for Knauf. Might actually just trigger a base trade, but the nice thing for KWOS, if it does trigger a base trade, is he'll have a good amount of tanks there grouped up. So tanks grouping out on the left side for Knauf. He's ready for a potential attack. Dogs going to the right side for Knauf and to the left side for KWOS. Lots of war factories ready to go. I just want to see that bridge repaired. I don't actually care about the rest of this. Ooh, KWOS making a move for the gems on the right side of the map. There actually isn't... there's not access from the high ground. You have to kind of take it from your opponent's side of the map. That's kind of an interesting map feature. And it looks like 2 harvesters sent over for KWOS. So he's going for the gems full on. This is probably in vision of Knauf, but Knauf, on the other hand, not going for the gems. There's our first Desolator. We actually have Desolators, would you believe it, in this game. It's not all rhinos. It's not all dogs. We have some Desolators mixed into it. Oh, no, actually, I thought there was going to be a refinery. Okay, there is actually a refinery deployed just there. And the sell-off of the MCV. So KWOS is happy. I believe he still has the depot. No, he sold off the repair depot, so he can't rebuild an MCV, I don't think. Unless it's like Red Alert 1, where you can sell off your service depot and you still get to build an MCV. Ooh. Whoa, not something I expected to see. Iron Curtain, we got up to a super reactor. We got everything going on. Looks like a Desolator deploys here on the left side of the map. Another Desolator deploys, cleans up some of those dogs, causes some radiation in the area, which does do friendly fire, it looks like. I wasn't sure about that. I was pretty sure it did friendly fire, but some things are a little bit weird. All right, splitting the tanks left and the right side. KWOS coming in here, and he's going to go straight into the maw of the tank grinder of Knauf. Knauf, I think, getting a better positional play, but it might just be overwhelming numbers from KWOS. KWOS dissipating here. It might be the reinforcements that save him. He's going to be jumping on the tanks on the right side of the map as well, and there's going to be the flak track getting eliminated. KWOS losing the battle on the left side of the map. No, he's going straight for the Iron Curtain, and there's the GG as Knauf takes the loss. It looked like he was going to be losing the battles on both sides of the map. Even if he won the tank fight on the left side, he was going to lose the Iron Curtain and lose everything else as well. So that does it for this game. Let's jump into some more matches. So we're kicking it here in Desert Island. We almost got to play on Pirate Bay, which I was personally excited about, but we ended up in Desert Island in the south as the Yellow Soviets playing Iraq. This is KWOS, and playing red in the north. This is Knauf, or Knauf. We are unsure of how to pronounce this guy's name. Zhasulan, how long have these guys been playing each other?
The score is 4-4 right now.
Okay, so I missed a couple of those games. My game crashed a couple of times, and were you guys playing before I jumped on?
Yeah.
Have they all been Iraq versus Iraq?
Yes.
Soviet mirrors?
Unfortunately.
They pretty much all follow a very similar pattern. I was really excited about that last game, you know, with the Iron Curtain, with the Desolators, and then it ended up, none of that stuff made a difference because KWOS just ran in there with a bunch of tanks and won the game. But I'm glad to hear it's a close series, that it's been going back and forth between these two guys.
Yeah.
I guess KWOS probably won the first couple of games because I think the matches that I saw were like 3 Knauf wins in a row. But,
yeah. KWOS was winning games, you know.
Okay, yeah, so from my perspective, I like joined in, and then the games that I actually saw where Red Alert 2 didn't just immediately crash, it was like Knauf was just dominating. But the last game, you know, felt pretty close, and KWOS was able to, I think, win out with positioning play with that attack on the left side and then the attack on the right.
Yeah.
All right, so this is a map starting with some gems, but KWOS is just going crazy with his base crawl to the north. And Knauf doing the same thing, maybe a little bit slower, but getting to those gems and keeping the ore trucks close, those short ore runs. Rhino tanks coming out because, you know, why would you ever build anything other than Rhino tanks? Although there was a flak cannon, a flak track in that last game as well, and then it died basically immediately and never again. KWOS moving through the middle of the map, trying to hunt that terror drone. The terror drone from Knauf, trying to sneak on by. Doesn't get the infect, gets the kill instead. Do the gems in the middle of the map normally get taken, or is this just the fighting ground that no one ever harvests?
They do get. But I mean, you better get middle, left, and right gems first. Stretch your base to the next patch,
Right, right.
next spot, and then move your MCV.
So keep your base crawl going to the north or to the south, and
Yeah.
then move to the middle after that.
Yeah.
Yeah, a couple of the games, I think it was Knauf moved his MCV much earlier than KWOS did, moving like to the low ground for better gem positioning or whatever. KWOS moving to the middle of the map, getting dangerously close. Similar tank numbers on both sides. I'm not actually fast enough at counting to say if one player has an advantage. War factories close for both players.
Red is moving his MCV to the middle now. Ah, not really middle.
Just to the
Just
low
wants to
ground.
put the refinery.
Yeah. Going for that kind of mid-ground if the high ground is all the way to the left or to the right. There's the deploy on the middle of the map. I guess drop a refinery, and then maybe... Is he going to base crawl to the middle?
No, he will move. Or stretch. Keep stretching to the bottom left.
Okay. Go for that second patch of ore below him.
KWOS is moving
Austrian.
MCV to the middle.
KWOS going fully to the middle. He's already base crawled a little bit to the low ground. He's not going super far to the north, but he's moving in with the tanks. And Knauf going to retreat a little bit, engaging directly. The MCV hasn't deployed. It's a potential target here. No sentry guns for this fight from KWOS. And the tanks from Knauf pushing on forward. He gets the MCV, and there's a kill. Only one sentry gun. Too late deployed to the front line. I assume KWOS moved his MCV because he was hoping to be able to deploy sentry guns for that fight, but he just got nothing down in time.
Yeah. And this is why we say stretching is better than moving MCV to the middle. This is what happens if you move it earlier.
Right, because at the same time, Knauf, with the advantage, has now moved his MCV safely to the middle, and he's got the deploy, he's got plenty of time. We do have a service depot from KWOS. Is he going to rebuild his MCV, or is he just going to play with the tanks?
It's not a good idea, because he's already down tanks. So if he gets MCV, he will insta-lose.
Tanks get split off by both players. It looks like he's going for the base race. KWOS's last hope to try and even the score of this game, take a point lead in this series. And at the same time, on the right side of the map, Knauf going for the war factories and going for his own kill of the base. Reinforcements coming in here for Knauf. Back on the left side of the map, Terror Drones going for the infect of these Rhino tanks. And Knauf is out of tanks on the left side of the map. But the assault keeps moving on the right side. Is there any way for KWOS to pull this game out?
No way. He's got only one war factory left.
Yeah, 3 tanks remaining. Oh man, these Terror Drone infects from Knauf just literally overwhelming the forces of KWOS. Terror Drone's infecting some of Knauf's tanks as well, but Knauf has more production. And the last war factory way in the south for KWOS. He's trying to defend it with what tanks he's got. Engineer gets killed by the Terror Drone, and Knauf comes in for the kill of the war factory, and that's the end of KWOS in this game. All about that positioning, all about that unit movement. Alright, that wraps up this video. We weren't able to get any more games, but hopefully we will be getting some team games or some FFAs in the future. Zhasulan and I were talking about that, so hopefully we'll be able to get some matches that aren't just Rhino tanks and dogs, because that's fun for a time, but not forever. Thank you all very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it, and this is Sybert, signing out.